31 minutes before it happened, the poodle stopped eating. That was the detail Rebecca Hale would repeat to the neurologist, to the paramedics, to her mother on the phone at midnight. Not what the dog did during the seizure. Not the frantic barking, not the way she pressed her body against Rebecca's side as the convulsions started. Those parts made sense afterward. What didn't make sense, what Rebecca kept coming back to, was that Luna knew 31 minutes early. Rebecca had been diagnosed with temporal lobe epilepsy at 19. She was 34 now, well managed on medication, with a seizure frequency of approximately 1 every 14 months. She understood her condition. She tracked her triggers. She wore a medical alert bracelet. But seizures don't follow schedules. The evening of March 8th was unremarkable. Rebecca's husband Greg was working late. Their son, Aiden, was 18 months old, fed and bathed, and playing with stacking cups on the kitchen floor. Luna, a 60-pound standard poodle, silver gray, 4 years old, was eating her dinner by the back door. At 7:04 p.m., Luna stopped. Her mouth was over the bowl. Her body stiffened. She lifted her head, turned toward Rebecca, and walked across the kitchen. She sat down next to Rebecca's left leg and pressed her shoulder against Rebecca's calf. Rebecca looked down. "What's wrong?" Luna didn't move. She was breathing rapidly, short, shallow inhalations through her nose, the kind of breathing Rebecca associated with alertness, not anxiety. Her eyes were fixed on Rebecca's face. Rebecca felt fine. No aura, no visual distortion, no metallic taste. She had learned to recognize every prodromal sign her body could produce, and none were present. She stepped over Luna and went to refill Aiden's sippy cup. Luna followed, not walking behind her, pressing against her leg, matching her stride, maintaining constant physical contact. Rebecca tried to redirect her. "Luna, go eat." Luna sat down beside the refrigerator and stared at her. Greg would later describe what he saw on the kitchen camera as the strangest footage he'd ever watched. Rebecca moving through the kitchen normally. Luna circling her in a tightening pattern, pressing closer with each pass. Rebecca pushing the dog away. Luna returning. Again and again. At 7:22, Rebecca called her mother. "Something's wrong with Luna. She won't stop following me. She won't eat. She keeps pressing against my legs." At 7:31, Rebecca felt the aura. The left side of her visual field shimmered. The metallic taste flooded her mouth. Her right hand went numb from the fingertips inward. She had approximately 90 seconds. She picked up Aiden. She placed him in the pack and play in the living room. She sat down on the kitchen floor with her back against the cabinet, pulled a throw pillow from the couch, and put it behind her head. Luna was already there. The dog had positioned herself along Rebecca's left side, her body a wall between Rebecca and the hard edge of the kitchen island. When the seizure began, Luna pressed her full weight against Rebecca's torso, preventing her from rolling toward the counter. The seizure lasted 2 minutes and 14 seconds. Aiden watched from the pack and play. He didn't cry. Luna didn't bark during the seizure. She braced. When the convulsions stopped, Rebecca entered the postictal phase. Confused, unable to speak, her left arm twitching. Luna stood up, walked to the kitchen counter, and knocked Rebecca's phone to the floor with her nose. The phone landed face up. The recent calls screen was visible. Greg's name was at the top. Rebecca couldn't dial. Her fingers weren't coordinated enough. But the phone was there. Luna returned to Rebecca's side and lay down, her chin on Rebecca's thigh. She stayed there for 11 minutes until Rebecca's cognition returned enough to press the call button. If you stay for stories about the ones who know before we do, subscribe. This is where those stories live. Greg arrived home in 14 minutes. Rebecca was sitting upright, holding Aiden, her speech still slightly slurred. Luna was lying across the kitchen doorway, blocking the path between the living room and the kitchen. The neurologist Rebecca saw the following week explained what the research suggests. Trained seizure alert dogs detect biochemical changes, shifts in cortisol, volatile organic compounds, electrical microsignals, up to 45 minutes before onset. Luna had no formal training. She had learned through 3 years of living with Rebecca's body. "She's reading something your instruments can't measure yet," the neurologist said. "We don't fully understand the mechanism. But the behavior pattern you're describing, the food refusal, the pressing, the circling, that's a consistent pre-seizure alert. Has someone in your life ever known something was wrong before you did? Tell us in the comments. These stories connect people who need to hear them. Rebecca enrolled Luna in a formal seizure response certification program the following month. Luna passed every evaluation on the first attempt. The trainer said she had already taught herself the protocol. Every guardian who listens deserves to be recognized. Subscribe so you never miss the next one. 3 months later, Luna stopped eating her dinner again. Rebecca felt fine, no aura, no symptoms. She picked up Aiden, she sat on the kitchen floor, she put the pillow behind her head. 28 minutes later, the shimmer began. Luna was already there. Dr. Yamamoto followed Maya's case for 2 years. At 6 months post-diagnosis, the EEG showed significantly reduced seizure activity. The medication protocol was working. At 12 months, Maya had been seizure-free for 91 consecutive days. At 24 months, she was cleared to participate in normal physical activity with standard precautions. The neurologist told Sophie that Maya's outcome, early diagnosis, well-controlled, minimal medication adjustment, was consistent with the best-case trajectory for juvenile absence epilepsy. "You caught this at the beginning of the presentation curve," he said. "Earlier treatment means better long-term outcomes. The brain responds better to medication when the seizure disorder is new." Sophie asked what would have happened without the early detection. The answer was careful. More seizures before anyone identified the pattern. More unprotected exposure to seizure risk at school, during sports, in the car when she was older. The average time from first seizure to diagnosis in children without an obvious clinical event is 11 months. Yours was 11 weeks. The difference was a poodle who stopped eating 31 minutes before a seizure and stood outside a bedroom door in the snow until someone opened it. Sophie kept a log for 6 months after the diagnosis. Every time Rosie exhibited the alert behavior, the 30-minute stillness, the positioning outside Maya's room, the watchful waiting, Sophie noted it. She cross-referenced it with Maya's seizure diary, which the neurologist had requested. Out of 19 alert behaviors in 6 months, 18 corresponded with a seizure or a subthreshold seizure event within 45 minutes. 1 was a false alarm. 18 for 19. That was Rosie's record. Better than most monitoring devices, better than any parent's intuition. Sophie stopped calling it intuition after that. She called it data.